Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you, and today we are going to focus on Tbol, Turinabol. But before we get into that, I just want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel, hitting the like button, leaving comments. You guys are absolutely amazing. I can't thank you enough. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and make sure that after you subscribe, you hit that bell icon or you're not going to get all the updates from YouTube every time I upload new content. And if you're enjoying the videos, take a quick second and hit the like button for me, please. It goes a million miles to help the channel grow, and it's only going to encourage me and allow me to do more content for everybody, which I want to do. If you can do those little things for me, I'm going to do a lot more for you. So let's dive in. Talk about Tbol. So Tbol is an oral steroid, as many of you know. It's actually a derivative of Dbol, but it doesn't aromatize into estrogen. It produces slow quality gains with a lot less side effects than Dbol ever would, so that's one of the things that I love about it. Quick background on it. It was introduced in East Germany in the 1960s. Now, the reasoning of this was to give a competitive edge to their male and female athletes in the Olympics. This is well documented. You can go back and find this and a lot of information on it if you want to read up on it. It was said and believed that the success of the East German Olympians from the 60s through the 80s is directly correlated and traced to Tbol use. It's crazy. So if you're not aware of that, pretty interesting stuff there. Now, the East Germans called the Tbol doping program STAS, all right? And it was kept secret until the 1990s when Germany was actually unified. History lesson for you. In fact, it's one of the few steroids in history that was developed solely for performance and enhancement purposes and not for medical use whatsoever. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, quickly, let's just do Tbol versus Dbol so you can see the slight differences here, or big differences. Although they're almost the same thing, the difference is that there is an added 4-chloro alteration with Tbol that's not there with Dbol, and what that does is it differentiates the two steroids. Tbol has 0 for its androgenic rating and a very mild 52, 53 anabolic ranking, so this means there's absolutely 0 androgenic or estrogenic activity with Tbol. No aromatization will take place. You don't have to worry about gynecomastia at all. So you can expect slow, steady, dry gains. On the other hand, Tbol is the king of aromatization out there. Many of you are aware of that. And it's going to add a ton of mass, but a lot of water in a very short period of time. So there's a big difference there. A lot of people will call Tbol Dbol's baby brother, or some people little kid sister. That's up to the person. I definitely would not say that at all, because Tbol is still strong in its own right, but there's differences there, all right? Now, Tbol isn't the best bulking steroid of all time by any means, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have huge benefits and that it won't add size and strength, because it most certainly will. Since it doesn't aromatize, you don't have to worry about the estrogenic side effects, like I said. You're not going to worry about gynecomastia, water retention, high blood pressure, all of those. You can forget that. All right. Well, I should take that back. You won't have to worry about high blood pressure coming from high estrogen. You could still get high blood pressure with it being a toxic oral steroid. So don't forget about that aspect of it, but it won't be caused by any estrogenic activity. So big difference there. If you're running Tbol by itself, you should not need an aromatase inhibitor at all. A lot of people are going to be running it with testosterone, so there you would need an aromatase inhibitor. Now, let's talk about some benefits with Tbol. You're going to get good results without any sort of sloppy, wet gains. You still can gain size. I've seen people gain pretty good size and strength on it. I can't tell you exactly what you're going to gain, but I would expect a good 5 to 7 pounds if you're running it by itself at the minimum, depending on how you eat and what kind of quality Tbol you've got and things like that. You could expect tighter muscles without a puffy look. It's not a muscle hardener like an Anavar or Winstrol, but you're definitely going to see some nice, harder looking muscles, more clean, things like that. You're going to see an increase in strength, an increase in lean muscle mass, an increase in free testosterone, low side effects. It's got the ability to strongly bind to SHBG as well. Now, there's really no medical uses for it at all. Like I said earlier, it was produced strictly for performance enhancement benefits, so that's kind of out. Now, dosing and length of time, I am not a fan of women using Tbol at all. If you are going to, I wouldn't run it any higher than 5 milligrams a day and not any more than 6 weeks. For men, also do not exceed 6 weeks. 40 to 60 milligrams is going to be your sweet spot. I find that, 60 being the max. I would not exceed 60 milligrams. It is completely unnecessary. It is still a toxic oral steroid. Don't forget that. Now, the half-life is 16 hours, so once a day dosing is going to be completely fine. Don't worry about that. Now, understand, it's a C17 alpha alkylated oral steroid. All right? They do that and throw that in there so it can survive the first pass through the liver. You've got to be careful. You've got to understand it can affect your liver, your kidneys, your blood pressure, your cholesterol. I can go on and on and on. So you've got to protect yourself. All right? All-in-one protectants are excellent. That is what I would recommend alongside of it. Listen, liver support is not enough when it comes to that. You've got to have more than just addressing your liver. It's not the most toxic by any means or any stretch of the imagination, but it's still toxic, and you still need to understand that. It is a suppressive steroid. You still need a full post-cycle therapy. Whether or not you're running it with other steroids or not, it would absolutely need a full post-cycle therapy. So that, my friends, is Tbol. That is a basic breakdown of it. That's everything that you really need to know inside and out. It is a very underrated compound. I will say that. It kind of falls in the middle. That and equipoise seem to be really underrated by many people. It has more intrigue now because of the John Bones Jones things and, him testing positive and things like that. So it has picked up more intrigue than it had in the past. But trust me when I tell you, it does not get the love it probably deserves. So that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli signing off.